How's everybody doing? How are you doing? How am I doing? These are all things that we're going to get to. Are we? I don't know. Nobody knows. The goals for today. Well, maybe we'll give it a minute. Give it a minute before we start sharing goals for today and things like that. I think that's important because for obvious reasons. We're just starting here. I don't want to just be off and running too much. I am going to show you something. I got reacquainted with an old guitar of mine. I'll go grab it right now. It just so happens to be right here, conveniently located. Ooh. I'm so used to reverse headstocks that when I got a tune up, I'm always here, and then that's not where it is on this guitar. So that's fun. Isn't it fun? Sure. It's great. Let's grab a pick here. You know, this pick holder, I've had this for 30 years. I've had this pick holder for 30 years. It's held up wonderfully. This is a condiment ramekin from a TGI Fridays. Why do you have a condiment ramekin from a TGI Fridays? I have my reasons. Let's see. So let's this over the 30 years has been quite a holder of things. So, these are always filled with like picks. Like this is like a Dunlop Tortex. This is like a 2 mil. I used to use these. These used to be like my jam. Like the 2 mil and the 1.5 were my pick jams. I used to use goddamn. Yeah, Ratatouille. That's cool. Yeah, these were my thing. About 30 years ago, I used to play 11 gauge strings tuned standard on my my main guitar was back then was my 16th birthday Strat that I had made for myself, and I still have it. It's in the closet. And so yeah, I used to play. One of my goals for today was to not sound like a crazy person. I have had a bunch of coffee. I've had a lot of coffee. So when that happens, these things are usually all over the road. I'm going to try and do my best to not sound like a crazy person. I'm going to try and keep my thoughts not concise. I think that's probably too much for me to ask of myself, but at least coherent. I think if we can achieve coherency from what I'm talking about today, that's a win. Okay. So yeah, these used to be I've got a fair amount of these still here. Like I bought these picks in probably 91 or 2. So, see this one, I did some extra grip. I took a razor blade and just kind of, put some scratches in there. Ooh, we've got an Adam Naniez pick. Little Adam Naniez Jazz 3. Jazz 3 to the ground. Got a little Adam Naniez band in there. We have a Sully Guitars button. We got a Rock and Roll Relics pick. This is a Rev Love pick from a band that I was in the mid 90s for a little teeny tiny bit, and then again in 2002. That was like just before I moved down here. Some Rev Love picks. Let's see, both the logos on them. My buddy Vito gave these to me. Actually, now I think about it, I had a bunch of really weird dreams last night. Vito was in one of them. He was playing guitar and singing. I forget what song he was playing. Oh, was that a gig or something? I don't exactly remember. It was kind of a weird dream. Let's see what else. This is a Dunlop Flow 1 mil pick. This one I like. The Dunlop Flow and the Dunlop Flex, maybe. I really like. I like this one a lot. It's kind of like a big Jazz 3 shape, sort of. Welcome to Pick Talk. I'm gonna set this one aside. Oh wow, this is one of Jeff LaBar's picks from Cinderella. I know that I have another one in here. My friend Ian was Jeff's tech, and when Cinderella was in town, it would have been 2012. I met up with my buddy Ian, who I hadn't seen in a really long time, and it was really nice. It was really good to see him. It was interesting. Like Ian also did some work for Stryper. I think he did some tech work maybe for Oz. I know he still does from time to time. And I think at one point he might have been their tour manager. This was long before I did. Joey's got some questions. Have I tried those acoustic attack picks? No, I've never heard of them. Congrats on the 9-year, 2-week notice anniversary. Thank you. When we were at that show, got to catch up with Ian beforehand, and got to see Jeff's guitars, and Mrs. Sully took my picture with a couple of them. One was the red Shake Me video guitar, and that picture showed up in a Kramer group recently, which is kind of a blast from the past. And then the other one was his double neck SG. Was it an SG? I don't know, like the Don Felder guitar or like the Jeff LaBar guitar. I think he played that in maybe the video for Heartbreak Station, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, these are a couple of Jeff's picks. Yeah, that's kind of that's sad. I got to meet him a little bit after the show, and he's a nice guy, and sad to see what happened to him a few years ago. Another one of those picks. This is a birth announcement pick from my friends at Park Avenue Guitars, back when it was Park Avenue Music. When their daughter Serena was born, they had picks made for like birth announcements. So it says Serena Amanda on the back, 8/1/98. So I've had this for a minute. A Tusk pick, Graph Tech Tusk pick. These are kind of interesting. Got another one of those. Little thicker. What's this? Chicago Music Exchange pick. I don't think I've ever used this. This probably came, I don't know, with some reverb stuff maybe. I don't know. That wouldn't make sense. Who knows? I'm just going to manifest this, that I want Chicago Music Exchange to become a Sully Guitars dealer. That would be great. I'm going to put that. I was going to put that on my forehead to keep it safe. Some Sully picks. What else we got? Tusk picks. I don't know how I got this one. This probably came with some EMGs as a Metallica Hetfield pick. I do like this pick. This is similarly shaped. It's kind of like a giant Jazz 3. I thought maybe it was like this Dunlop Flow pick, but it's not. I like that pick. That's cool. A Mike Shishkov guitar pick. A GJ2 guitar pick. That's old-ish. I know I got another one of those in here somewhere. Dunlop. I think this is a Flow. I've been using this one. Flex. Dunlop Flex. I like that. There's got to be 9s on this guitar. Yeah. 9 to 46. I like 9 to 46. I know we string up all of our guitars with 10 to 46. For my own personal guitars, I prefer 9 to 46. Here's an Ace Frehley pick. This came, I didn't get this from Ace. I do have one of Ace's picks that I got in the 90s. So this has the solo album cover face on it. This was, this probably would have come in a promotional. I know that there were some promotional, not promotional, there were some Ace like compilation CDs that came out in the 90s. So that one, and I know this one would have come from those, because like on the back it says promo only, not for sale. Okay. Oh, we've got a metal pick from my buddy Steve McSwain. That's cool. These are really cool. They're very textured and bitchin'. Oh, here. So they're metal. They're thick. And you can see, let's see. There we can't. I'm trying to get it. It's got the McSwain logo. And like the stars, like it's like the black in here. It's, you know, this is dimensional. Just on the one side. Bitchin'. Rock and Roll Relics, a comparison guitar pick from Courtney Cox. Oh, so this was this would have been given to me by Gabriel at Comparison. Nice guy. It's a good pick. Another like Jazz 3 kind of guy. Sometimes I like the Jazz 3s. Sometimes they feel like a little too small. I think you have to get used to them. We got another Revlov pick. The Sully pick. I mean, there's a ton of Sully picks in here. What else we got? Rock and Roll Relics. There's some really old ones. Like I said, I've had some of these since like the 90s. Nobody cares about this. Was a Jackson pick. This is another good one. It's kind of like a Delrin material, like the Diodario Delrin. Is it Dunlop Diodario Delrin? Nobody knows. But you know what I'm talking about. Like they kind of feel a little chalky, but like I put razor blade lines in here to give it some extra grip, because man, I can't be sliding all over the place when I'm, you know, shredding like a cheese grater. You know, that's what I do. Oh, nice. Potvin Guitars pick from my buddy Mike Potvin. A safety pin, helpful for getting your SIM card out of an iPhone. I used to jailbreak my iPhone a lot years in the earlier version. Oh, I thought I lost this. Shit. I haven't seen this in 17 years. And I say that because I thought I lost this soon after I moved into my house. I had another one that went with it that is gone. Thought I lost it around the same time. This is one of Robin's picks. This was, it's stainless steel. And there was a time when he was farting around with those. That is, that's really neat. That's really neat. That's cool. It's pick talk. How about that? I did have one from the Dancing Undercover tour. And you see him on eBay from time to time. You know, they're white and they have his name. And they got, you know, one side it's got his name, the other side it's got, you know, rap, maybe the year. Yeah, that's pick talk. So my goals for today, again, not to sound like a crazy person, to be coherent, share some things. I don't have a ton of things to share. Oh, there are some questions in here. Oh, okay. Mike, good morning to you. Glenn, so here's where we go. They have passed. So I had my last two dogs. Actually, all the dogs I've had in my adult life are greyhounds, but my last two, Nico and Banksy, passed away. Nico passed away in March of 2020, and Banksy passed away in late January this year. So I decided, I mean, you know, I'm sure plenty of you have lost pets and things like that, and it's the worst to have to, you know, put them down when it's time. And I realized I just couldn't really do that anymore. So I decided after, you know, like once Nico was getting up there, they both lived to be 14, that's pretty good, and especially for greyhounds. But you know, you spend the last couple of years watching their decline, and you're constantly like, "Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Is this time? Is it?" I mean, you know, I've been through it. You know, yeah. I just can't go through it anymore. And yeah, so that's the story with them. They were great and very sweet, and I think about them and I miss them. But you know, here's and I do feel bad saying this. There is a freedom that I kind of appreciate, or not freedom, but like not having the responsibility right now is something that I kind of don't mind. We have Cat, Liz Lemon. She's fine, and yeah, I don't think I can have dogs anymore. I just can't. Yeah, so it's just too difficult to watch the end. So, who's got some good jokes? Hey everybody, Rodrigo's here, checking in from Santiago, Chile. And yeah, so I did have some things, or just at least some ideas of things that I wanted to kind of chat about, I guess. Nothing at all earth-shaking. So this has been a pretty productive week. There hasn't been a lot of progress in the, well, we're always in these phases. So woodwork phases. There's like, I guess the very end of the woodwork phase is like sand up, like pre-paint sanding. That's kind of like where this is your last chance to address any, you know, to get any scratch out, anything like that. Oh, do you? You need to show me how to play the riff to Rock and Roll Rebel properly. You're going to show it to me the exact way that I did that video then. If you watch, you know, like many people, I learned it out of the Guitar for the Practicing Musician issue from back in the 80s. And then I did that video. And I mean, there's always going to be, oh, you're playing it wrong. And I'm like, I don't think that I am, because like the notes are there, but like the sound quality of the notes are there. But there are times when I've been wrong with these sorts of things. This is not one of those times. Like, for example, the LA Guns song, Never Enough. The open, to me, sounds like, oh, not like that. Whatever. I'm sure I've got something in tune here. Oh, that didn't feel great on my shoulder at all. Just that first part. But like I saw LA Guns recently, and Tracy's playing it. He's playing it somewhere around there. Anyway, Rock and Roll Rebel. I know I'm playing it right. I know that I am. And so after I posted that video, and you know, like I thought to myself, I'm probably gonna stop doing like guitar playing reels, because it's one thing, you know, generally on social media, you know, there's a many people are very nice, and I really appreciate that. I get enough unkindness just on, like, you know, sharing business posts. So I would prefer not to have ugliness coming at me through many different channels. However, soon after I posted that video, I'm like, there's got to be video of Jake playing this song. And, you know, the first thing I found was the pro shot footage from the Bark at the Moon tour, which I mean, it's an Ozzy show, so they're not really cutting to, in what I watched, they're not really cutting to Jake very much, other than, like, you know, you can kind of see him kind of like his hand kind of like at this angle. And then I found Red Dragon Cartel playing Rock and Roll Rebel, and I'm like, rad. This is going to be shot from a fan. No one's going to be trying to get the drummer. And, you know, so we're going to see. Now, in that video, I mentioned, you know, you're going like, because that whole riff was, I remember reading this, so it has to be true, that it was based on Jake trying to just do like stretching exercises. And in the transcription, or in the video, I'm like, you know, and then you could go here, but that's a big stretch. From you're on the 2nd to the 7th, that's 5 frets. I don't have small hands. I know Jake has. He's, you know, he's not working with catcher's mitts. But so as I did that video, I'm like, well, like I said, if you hate your hands, you could, you know, hit that note, or you can go here. So, you know. And so, I'm watching the video. I'm sorry. We're going to be coherent. And so I'm watching the video, and sure enough, so I just anchor my finger across just because it's easier for me. Jake doesn't. He kind of, in that video I saw, he's kind of going, he's kind of pivoting, and maybe he's changing a bar. The dude's moving. This isn't like lick 37 slow. But he does. He goes all the way up there, and I'm like, man, good for you, Jakey Lee. That's why you're a hero. Yeah. So that's it. The second part, there is a slide into the E5 from G. There's a slide into the E5 from G. I can't imagine this. That's good. can't. I'd have to hear it. But anyway, and I know he does do, instead, I do that. He goes, I saw his, you can't, sorry. He kind of did that. Anyway, that's Jake. So yeah, this was, so I did a fair amount of Jake related TikToks since then. And someone asked, well, how about you can do some Badlands stuff? And one thing that I will share, this is the Jakey Lee appreciation section of today's stream. When I have some yogurt to kind of properly frame my thoughts. First time I saw Red Dragon Cartel was at a corporate event in Tulsa, Oklahoma with my buddy Pete. And it was for Lava Cable. And Lava Cable was celebrating their 10th anniversary. So they had, they booked Red Dragon Cartel. And the idea was they would do a half set and then a Q&A afterward. They sold tickets. And Pete and I went. I got up to the very front of the stage. And it was cool because the stage was real low. Like, it was maybe like a 6-inch riser kind of thing. Maybe a little bit more, but not much more. And I'm standing, so they've got the stage and they've got the PA system. They've got some like floor, speakers, and then there's like some overhead speakers. I'm framed by those speakers. Like, I could not be closer to the stage. And I'm right in front of Jake. I got some really cool pictures, some real cool blurry pictures, but I'm like, I'm maybe 6 feet from the guy. It was awesome. And you've seen the YouTube video of Jake talking about how to play Bark the Moon properly. That was from that event. And like, they filmed the whole thing. And I remember them saying that they were going to upload the whole thing. And they didn't, which is a bummer, but it's okay. And part of what he was talking about in the Q&A, and I think this is just before, well, it doesn't matter, was when he's writing a song or a riff or whatever, he figures out the riff and then decides where he's going to play it. And he said, because, sometimes, you play the same thing in different areas of the neck, it sounds different. Sometimes it sounds better. And he used Paranoid as an example, because when he was with Ozzy, and both he and Randy would play Paranoid, like that. But if you watch Tony play it, he's over here. Same notes, different kind of sound. And he did a signing afterward, and he signed this guitar there. It says, right, Sully, sup, Jakey Lee. And George, good morning to Pittsburgh. Joe, good morning to you. Dave says, yo, he's falling down a well. Yo. Did I miss NAMM stuff? Still on deck. We're still, these past couple weeks have been Jakey Lee appreciation. So we're still there. But during the signing, it was so cool because I showed him this guitar. This is not a Jake signature. It's a real deal Charvel, but this was part of a 10-piece run that was commissioned by my buddy Karen. And again, this was 2007, long before the Whitey before the signatures came out, and they have a policy where they won't accept custom orders of guitars that are artist similar, especially if they don't have a signature model. Jake didn't at that time. So Karen had spec'd it out because she had an 84 Charvel Strat head that's white with a black pickguard and has a Kaler. And her idea at the time was, I want something like that guitar without a Kaler, which, I mean, I get that. And so the order was spec'd. It's 22 fret ebony fretboard, 22, but it does have the bullet truss rod. White matching, black pickguard, hum single, old school style hardtail bridge. When the order was placed, this is not the factory pickguard. I made this shortly after the guitar arrived. The original pickguard has two standard oriented single coil pickups. And and the entire time, I think they tried to kill the order like 3 times because they're like, "You sure you're not trying to make a Jakey Lee guitar?" And it was specified that it's like a swimming pool route, so we could change it later. So the whole thing was, let's get it as close as we could and get the guitar made. So once the guitar arrived, I eventually replaced the tuner buttons with the Pearl. And quite frankly, these Pearl tuner buttons, I do not like them. They're a little slippy, even though I've got the screws tightened. And so I don't like that. But then again, I used to play this guitar a lot. And I don't now. And then it's got the custom shop logo. That's kind of like a point of, some collectors don't like the custom shop logo. So she felt like she's like throwing them a bone by put the custom shop logo on there. And then Jake signed, when I first met Jake at a Badlands record store appearance for their first record. I had a Bark at the Moon era tour shirt it was just Ozzy and Jake on it. And it was like a tan shirt. And of course I cut the sleeves off because that's what you do when you're in 8th grade. So Jake signed that. And then on my Badlands album, it says, "John, cool shirt, Jakey Lee." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, Jake." He was so nice to me. I've told the story a million times. I'm going to tell it again. It was at Flipside Records in suburban Chicagoland. And I went with my buddy Catfish. And we had his Instamatic camera, and there was something wrong with the camera to where like the lens maybe was out of place in the camera, like it would kind of flop around or whatever. So you would if you try and take a picture, sometimes it wouldn't go, and you have to kind of like smack it into place, and then it would work. And so I have pictures while I'm in line. And then I gave the camera to my buddy Catfish to take a picture of Jake and me. And he's trying to take a picture, and it won't fire. And I go, "Smack the shit out of it." And Jake goes, "Yeah, smack the shit out of it." And I'm like, "This is the best." And it wouldn't, we didn't get a picture together. And so then Jake's like, "Are you coming to the show?" And I'm like, "Uh-huh. I got on the guest list." And he's like, "You think you could get me in?" And I didn't quite understand, and because I was 17 for fuck's sake, and he's like, "I'm just joking. I'll see you at the show," and then we moved on. So I did see Dangerous Toys opened up. I got all the way as close as I could to Jake's side of the stage. He did see me because we made eye contact, and he's like, "Oh," and then so he starts throwing picks towards me. I'm not catching any of them. And before his last pick that he had, he reaches out into the crowd like I'm reaching out to you right now. to try and hand it to me, and I just couldn't get close enough. And he was kind of like, sorry. But anyway, so I still have that shirt. It's actually hanging in that closet. And years ago, I scanned the autograph. I took a picture of the autograph, put it in Photoshop, made water slide decals. So like this does have his signature from my shirt. And like, it's just a water slide decal on top of the clear. So like I could always take this off, it's no problem. But yeah, then when I saw him at the lava cable thing, I brought this guitar with me, and we were talking about it. And I do have some video, and he's like, "Oh man, that guitar's ugly," and we were just kind of talking about some stuff, and then he signed it, and he's like, and I asked him to sign it. I'm like, and you can please personalize it, because like I'm never going to sell it, because why would I do that? Anyway, that's my Jake story for today. Getting ready to, Jeff's going to Cowerfest. Tell Doug I said hi. So at the gates of hell, I'm given a choice of Trem to play the rest of eternity, Kaler or Bigsby. Kaler. I do hate Bigsby's that much, but I do consider Kaler's the 80s Bigsby. I know they work. I know Kaler's work fine. I don't think they're visually appealing, and I don't like the feel of them. To me, I mean, it is very smooth, and I know that you can get, more tension, higher tension springs on them, so they're a little stiffer. But to me, it always feels like a limp handshake, and I don't like those in real life, and I don't like them on the Trem. So it might be technically better. It's a smoother response and all that stuff, but I just don't. Not for me. Anyway, so that's, yeah. So I have been spending some time with this, and it's a cool guitar, but I gotta say, yeah. So I did put this hanger up here last weekend because I was, you can't see me. I installed that hanger over the last weekend because, like Eminem, I was cleaning out my closet last weekend, and there was stuff in there that I absolutely forgot about, which is kind of fun. Dave says clunk. Yeah, it is a clunky neck heel, especially when we get something like this in comparison. It's just, yeah, man, you wanna bend that get up there on the 22nd of your low E. I got you. Anyway, this is as you can tell, it's not quite finished. But this is a 622 FR, and this we changed some of the machining process of how 622's style necks are made, and this was kind of the test monkey, this neck, and it came out great. So I am really happy about that. We might as well. We changed the machining process. So do you want me to go into it? We're already at 40 minutes. So the way that we used to do 622 necks is the way that we do all necks with angled headstock. In that we make the neck shaft, all aspects of the neck shaft. So, you've got your locator pins for your fretboard alignment to when it glues up. And your truss rod channel, your the back shape is done. But the way that we had them machined, they would require a little bit of handwork on the head blend. And then also the little swoopy part was, I've talked about this before, was something that still had to be done by hand, and that is a pain. And we want to minimize what? Unnecessary handwork. That's right. So we got that sorted, and so we would get all that done. The neck shaft would be completely milled and ready for the fretboard to be glued on. When the fretboard would also be completely would be made to completion. So it's taper, radius, inlays, fret slots, little notch for the spoke wheel, and then you kind of glue them up together. They're all their final size, and you glue them up together, and you're all good. Changed that to something that does require something that I don't like doing, is taking things off of a table and getting them back on the table. Because even though you have locators, so there's a locator in the heel of the neck, and we would use a locator in one of the tuner holes, because that would then get drilled away. Even though you may have your things located and in that same spot on the fixture, it's not gonna be exactly the same. But I'm talking like thousands, hundreds and thousands of inches. So, well, thousands of inches. So what we did is we changed it. So the neck would be, a lot of that would kind of be done the same way, with the exception of, so the first thing, the neck blank is on the table. I got to close my eyes so I can kind of run through this. Locator pins go in. Channels for carbon fiber rods go in. What? That's right. We put them in this. And then the truss rod channel, actually before the truss rod channel, there's a little line that, there's a little program that cuts the profile of the heel. And I do that before the before the truss rod is done, because it machines cleaner that way. So that's done. Then we flip the neck over. I did something. And we do like a little hook protection. Oh, and you may notice something different with this 622. It's a non-reverse headstock. Not gonna lie, this is a mind fuck. Anyway, so on the back, we flip it over, the locator holes go in. The rest of the tuner holes, we drill the mount screw holes for the tuners, which is, it's so much nicer. That is so much nicer. And back shape is done. And then the profile is cut oversized. There's like 50 thousandths, almost a 16th of an inch. And so it's oversized. And then we go over and start the fretboard. Start it. So we get the locator holes on the underside of the fretboard, so they could be mated with the neck shaft. We keep it flat, and then we just cut it out oversized. That same like 50 thousandths. Those two pieces are mated together. I check and make sure that, the truss rod is in. We'll glue the fretboard on, because you need to do that first. And then before this goes back on the table, I make sure that the neck is straight. So then this whole thing sits on the table, and then I have it cut the inlays, and then I put the inlays in, and the inlays are taller than the pockets. And then the radius is done. So the fretboard radius is done while it is mated to the neck. I really like doing that. And there are a few logistical reasons why we can't do this on angled headstocks, or anything that's got binding. And dude, it just fucking bums me out because this process comes out so well. Anyway, so then it does the radius. It does a little swoopy down. We do the Floyd shelf. We cut it out, its final shape, and then it does its fret slots, and then it's done. And it really comes out so nice. It's great, but yeah, unfortunately, because we can't do that same method for set necks and angled headstocks, which is really a bummer because I would love to be able to do that. But yeah, so this is 622 FR. This is a spec build because when we did the first batch, you got to make a test. So even like, haven't you made a guitar with a Floyd before? Never done it. So anyway, yeah, and this is, I thought, so Joey has one on order as well, and this one and Joey's is different because it's a swamp ash body. Ooh. And Joey's a repeat client, and so I'm like, hey man, I got some swamp ash. You want a swamp ash body? And he's like, probably. I'm like, fuck okay. And I was trying to think of like, well, what color do we do with this? And we had gotten Kyle's slimy green Trella back from paint around that time, or maybe it was going on. And I'm like, let's do slime green over white because you need white for slime green. And so then it's like, okay, so now you've got like a green meanie thing going on. And I know it's got gold tuners on it right now. That's only temporary because I don't have the tuners for this. Because why? I ordered what I normally did because my brain was on autopilot, and I ordered staggered black reverse headstock tuners. Yeah. So these are just assembly hardware. So this will go to get plecked today. Oh, and I made fun little green slash inlays, and we don't do slash inlays on 622s. So why'd you do it here? Because I'm trying to have fun. And so this will be available for sale as soon as it's done, which, yeah, should be pretty soon. Joey, yours. So you said necks on deck. The neck for your guitar is done. The only thing that is preventing your guitar from being completed for some time now is Floyd Rose. They are. It's always tough for them to maintain inventory, and I ordered the trem for your guitar and the others maybe July, August. And it's like a 120 turnaround time. So, kind of a bummer because I got guitars to finish. So, I got to take this to get, this needs to be plecked. And then we'll make this available for some nice person to buy it. Pretty dope. Do you get a discount because it's all beat up? No, but I won't charge you extra for it. Non-reverse headstock, or in case of a Sully, a reverse headstock. You know, when there was a time when that was like the naming convention for me, because just about everything has a reverse headstock. That's the standard. So that's regular. And if you want to reverse, you get something like this. That is too much for the general buying public to wrap their heads around, which I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It's a bad idea for me. So yeah, that's why on the custom quote forms, it's always in the headstock orientation section. It's Standard, tuners point up, or reverse, tuners point down. Reverse is always cooler. But anyway, that's that. So this guitar is cool and will be completed. And so there's, I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to wrap this up soon. Let's first talk about NAMM. So NAMM, I'm going to be in the Boutique Guitar Builders, the Boutique Guitar Showcase, which is different from what I've done in the past. Doing this for a bunch of reasons. One, because I don't really know that me going to NAMM is necessary. And if it isn't, I would like to have to invest less money dollars into doing that, because quite frankly, I don't have a lot of money dollars, especially this month. Somebody please buy a guitar. And so I figured that, with how NAMM has kind of changed from an attendance standpoint, I figured that if I'm gonna go back, let's try and let's shrink it down a bit. So I'll be at the Boutique Guitar Showcase with my friends at the Boutique Guitar Showcase, and I think I'm only going to have 4 guitars because I think that's about all I can fit on the table, which is totally fine. What's also great is that 2 of the 4 guitars are 99% complete. They just need to have the cleanup from the cutter marks from the plaque. Frets need to be polished. Little bitty things like intonation setup stuff, important stuff, but like just about done. The 3rd NAMM guitar is currently in the paint booth, and that should be back pretty soon. And then the 4th NAMM guitar, oh shit, wait a minute. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so these are the guitars that I'm bringing. I'm bringing a Concord that I have not shared photos of. It is going to take every fiber of my being not to share photos of this because it's gorgeous. It is, I'm totally fine with it selling. It is easily one of the nicest guitars I've ever made. So the Concord, we're going to take an Astro, which is the new model. I might take the prototype, which just needs the final fret cleanup, but I wanted to make another one because I don't sell prototypes. And I wanted to be able to make sure that all of the guitars that I take to the show can be sold, because that is my stated goal. So the Astro, so we made that real quick. That is ready for paint. And it's the same configuration as the original. So it's got a black limba body. It's got a super flamey roasted maple neck. The fretboard actually is Royal Blackwood, which I'm trying to get away from ebony right now because the stuff I'm able to get is not what I'm really wanting. And 2 hums and a Floyd, and it's going to be trans red. And what else? There's a 71 Trello that's going to be there. Now, the question is, which one? Because I've had 2 that nobody owned. One has a quilt top on it that will make you weep with joy and wonder. And then I've also got another one that's like a flame top, but that's going to be that would be like a relic, or sullied, if you will. So I have to get the pretty one further along. So Monday, the frets will go in, and we should be able to get the neck glued in Monday or Tuesday, because I want to get everything done before the show, which everybody says. I've never been able to do that. But previously, I would have the luxury of going to Grover's shop and finish whatever guitars that were unfinished. Since Grover lives in Tennessee now, I no longer have that option. So it is up to me to be a big boy and get these guitars done. So we will be at NAMM. Did I tell you all the guitars? I did. No, I didn't. There's Concord, Astro, Trella, and a Raven. The Raven is a neck through one hum relic Sully white mare with a non-fine tuning Floyd no locking nut. No locking nut? You'll kill us all. No, it just works as a 2-point trem. It's great. You'll love it. So those are the guitars that I'm planning to bring. I still need to make sure that all 4 of those guitars will fit on a table. So we're going to I've got the table measurements. We'll lay some tape out and make sure that I can do that because I don't want to bring 3. But anyway, 4 is more and more is better. And then last bit is next month, the Arlington Guitar Show is like the 17th, 21st, somewhere around there. Anyway, against my better judgment, we will be, I think we'll be displaying there. After this wraps up, I need to go on their website and make sure that you can still reserve a booth. I'm sure that you can. I have very mixed feelings about doing these kinds of shows. But I think that it will be one of those situations where, as much as I dread doing it, it'll be fine. And I'll be glad I did. Only if some guitars sell. If no guitars sell and I then just wasted... you're not necessarily wasting money because it's advertising and it's a commercial for the brand and you're getting out and meeting people and all of those things are good and true. But I've got guitars that I want to sell. So all of the guitars on the in-stock page will be there for sure. I'll probably bring the Astro prototype. I might bring some of the guitars from the Stuff Sully kept gallery that isn't for sale, but probably not. It depends on how many guitars I can get together to sell. But this will be there. That purple 625 with the flame top that is beautiful will be there. We might even be able to get another 622 there. Because quite frankly, I think those 3 guitars will be the easiest of what I would bring to sell. And easy sales are better sales. So, yeah. So that's... Oh, that's right. Early on, I started talking about the stages of what we've been in. It's been all woodwork these past couple weeks because everything that we've got back from paint that has been able to be completed has been completed. So that means we need to get more woodwork stuff done and get that out to paint. So we got a couple of I got a couple of necks glued in 92s yesterday. We got the neck glued in on the second Astro earlier in the week. We got a Trella neck glued in earlier in the week. Working on Michael's next guitar, which is a 24 fret Stardust with a Floyd. It's a non-striper guitar, so it's going to be a different look for him. Trying to get that wrapped up as quick as humanly possible because I know he's got a solo gig in November that we want to get it to him for that. And I think we can do it. So, and there's a whole bunch of other, guitars that are in process. But I've got 15 more seconds to share this with you. So I don't know how well I've achieved my goal of being, what's the word? I've got 5 seconds. What's the word? Coherent.